Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel Physics Surgery, and here we are in JEE Advanced Solution Series, which I call it as Alpha and Omega of your preparation. That is the starting and ending of your JEE preparation. So I brought forward to you a question from JEE 2020 paper, in which a question on X-rays was asked, a simple properties based question on characteristic and continuous spectrum, and we'll try to see whether the X-ray report for the JEE key is going to be good or bad. In a meaning, I wanted to say whether the key given is correct or not. Okay, so and as we move along, we'll try to strengthen our concepts on understanding of X-ray spectrum, and also we'll top it off with 4 practice problems for the future analysis questions on this particular topic. Okay, so let me go forward and give you the formal wording of the question. So in case you have not attempted it from the community tab post that I have already given, right? So here is your chance. Pause the video, read the question, try it out for 2 to 3 minutes, and come up with a key on your own, and we'll try to match it up with the JEE key and see whether it is right. If it is right, where did the students go wrong? And if it is wrong, right, what is the problem with that particular key? Okay, so it's always good to analyze the questions so that we grow bigger in the subject. Okay, so let's move ahead. In an X-ray tube, electrons emitted from a filament, that is a cathode, carrying current I, hit an anode at a distance d from the cathode. The target is kept at potential V higher than the cathode, resulting in emission of continuous and characteristic X-rays. If the filament current I is decreased to I by 2, and the potential difference applied between cathode and anode is increased to 2V, the separation D is reduced to D by 2, 3 changes he has made, then he has given 4 possible options, of which one or more than one may be correct. Okay, there is negative marking also, which you should be very well aware of. The cutoff wavelength will reduce to half, and wavelengths of characteristic X-rays will remain same. Whereas in the second one, he says both remain same. And in the third one, he talks about cutoff wavelength being reduced to half and intensities of all X-rays will decrease. And the last one, the cutoff wavelength will become 2 times larger and the intensity of all X-rays will decrease. So we have to choose which of these options is appropriate. Okay. So before we move on, one humble request, like I always do for the recent videos, which keeps the channel alive, is to get 750 likes for this video. You can, if you're a regular visitor, just pause the video now here, hit a like and come back. And if you are visiting this channel for the first time, at the end of the video, once you have loved the concept that you learned, right, I request you humbly to not forget liking the video. Okay, so liked videos will get propagated into the YouTube algorithm much better. And also, if I reach the 300 subscribers target from the point of uploading of this video or the 750 likes, I'll come up with the next video, which will help you prepare for your JEE and Olympiads. Okay, so thanks for all the unconditional support till now, right? So let's keep this love going. Once this is out of our way, the X-ray tube setup is the Coolidge tube setup that is very familiar with all the students who are studying in 11th and 12th classes. So there is a cathode and there's a filament here. Because of the heating up of this filament, there'll be electrons that would be emitted, and the current in this filament decides the number of electrons coming out. Okay, so this is the stream. Since the electrons come out with almost negligible velocity, you need to speed them up to hit the cathode. So that is where between the cathode and anode, which is not shown in the figure, I'll show a better diagram later, right? You have a tube voltage. So greater the voltage, greater is the speed. To sum it up, the number of electrons are decided by the filament current I, and the speed with which all these electrons hit the anode is decided by the voltage between the two electrodes. Okay, so V that he gave in the question. And one more important thing that we need in this observation is to realize that for the distances that are applicable in Coolidge tube, let me show you that. Right. So for the distances that are applicable, you could see this beam goes super fast and there is no distance for which this divergence will take place. So the distance part that is asked in the question will not play a major role. It would have played a major role if this gap is very large and electrons have a chance to repel off each other. And some of those electrons, if they were to miss the anode, then the D would become very important. Okay, so that gives us a simple observation that in this particular question, Right? Simple observation is the distance between cathode and anode, C and A, let's call it ACSD, doesn't alter the wavelengths and intensity of the output. Okay, only changing D with keeping the tube voltage the same is going to change the electric field between the two gaps. If the gap is lesser, the electric field will becomes larger, but the voltage remains the same. The speed with which this gets hit would be the same. So keeping this in mind, our observation now becomes easier with our focus only on the voltage and current, this voltage and this filament current. Okay, so once that is out of our way, we'll go forward to the concept number 1. So concept number 1 is Duan-Hunt rule, in which we decide that the cutoff wavelength for the intensity versus wavelength graph of output of the X-rays is only dependent on the tube voltage. Okay, so a basic simple concept is that the electrons which are coming and hitting the metal target are going to get slowed down, or they will be applied brakes on it, and because of that they'll lose energy, and that lost energy is released in the form of a radiation. That radiation is going to be a continuous spectrum. Now we will have another video in which I'll detailedly explain the theoretical aspect of why this radiation comes out. Here if the tube voltage is higher, electrons will have greater kinetic energy, and therefore using this logic the cutoff wavelength would be smaller. And you could see that depicted here. For different tube voltages, 20, 30, 40 and 50 kilovolts on the same metal target, your cutoff wavelength you can see start decreasing in terms of increase in voltage. So this is the relation that you are supposed to look at. Not only that, if you carefully observe, one more important thing in this graph that we'll use in this question is that once you increase the voltage, the cutoff wavelength, yes, will reduce, and using this inverse proportionality, but also the intensity corresponding to each other wavelength other than cutoff wavelength, you will have rest of the wavelengths also. This is a spectrum. You will get many more wavelengths associated with the output X-rays. You pick a point called 0.08 nanometer here and compare across the experiments. For the 20 kilovolt to 30, 30 to 40 and 40 to 50, the intensity actually proportionately increases once the voltage is increased. Okay, right? So or you could say proportionately decreases when you decrease the voltage. So when you travel from 50 to 20, you can see there is a fall, or travel from 20 to 50, there is a rise. This is something that you will also have to note to attack the question. Okay, so once the concept 1 is done, let's move forward. Concept number 2 is about the characteristic spectrum. Okay, so again, one more very familiar thing. So let me go very quickly through. In this graph that I picked up from a source called researchgate.com, a standard source for these kind of graphs, tungsten anode, you could see from 100 kilovolt to 80 kilovolt, if one reduces the tube voltage, the energy or the relative intensity graph versus the photon energy. This, remember, at the bottom you don't have wavelength here, it is a photon energy, so the graph is reversed, right? My idea was to tell you that the characteristic wavelengths are not getting affected by the tube voltage. Why is that so? Because the basic idea how this characteristic X-ray spectrum is released, any incident electron comes and knocks out, let's say, an innermost shell electron, right? Innermost K shell or L shell or M shell, these electrons can get knocked out by the incoming electrons. Remember, electrons come and hit the metal target. So if once this vacancy is created, this vacancy can be filled by the L to K or even from M to K, based on which higher energy electron fills up the vacancy. You either call this as a characteristic K alpha or K beta, etc., etc. So for a given characteristic X-ray wavelength, the value of K alpha depends on which metal target you are taking, because these energy differences are just characteristics of this particular atom. So if you take tungsten and change voltages, your wavelength associated with K alpha doesn't change. Yes, intensity associated with them might change, like I discussed in concept number 1 slide, but the value of that wavelength is not going to change. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. Okay, right. Now let's move on to some of the options that he has given, and try to recollect the question. He talks about the voltage being doubled and current being halved. Okay, so I will do it in 2 steps so that we go slow and study and understand the situation. Okay, so these graphs have been taken from a source called conceptsoffphysics.com, a beautiful website wherein you'll get nice JE concepts with simple explanations and great diagrams. Okay, so you should check it out. And in this one, relative intensity versus wavelength, I have changed in this the red to green color, or green to red, let's go, where current in the filament I kept the same, but the voltage has been doubled. Current, if it is kept the same, but voltage is doubled, like we have seen in the concept 1 graph, the cutoff wavelength is going to reduce to half, right? And also correspondingly, all wavelengths, the intensity will rise. Now, what we'll do is we'll try to, from this double voltage, reduce the current to half. That means the number of electrons that are hitting now, because the filament current has been reduced, will bring this graph down. So this peak remains the same position, but it comes down here. So that is being depicted here in step 2. Okay, so the red one, which is still at 50 kilovolt, but half the current comes down, but the peak will not match. Okay, so this peak will be at the same position, but the graph has come down because the number of electrons have been reduced. And the graph, as you can predict, will have the same K alphas and L alpha wavelengths, but there will be some intersection of these graphs. This graph will not lie completely below it. Okay, right. So using this logic of voltage getting doubled and current getting halved, let's try to understand what would happen. Okay, so analyzing the option C, right, in the original question, he said the cutoff wavelength will reduce to half and the intensities of all X-rays will decrease. Now, if you look at this diagram, this picture credit should go to one of my friend and colleagues, Ambarish sir. Last year, when we were trying to apply for a key change, right? So there is a process for JE Advanced where we object to certain keys. So after having certain discussions, this beautiful diagram was drawn by him and shared with all of us. So yeah, so the same diagram from the previous slide, you could see that our argument was that from this point A to A prime, if you take this wavelength, there is an increase. Okay, whereas from point B to B prime, where the current has been reduced to half but voltage is doubled, there is a chance that the voltage, the intensity actually decreases. So you cannot be sure that what J is asking, that all X-ray intensities are going to decrease. So he talks about, can you see in this particular option, he talks about all the X-rays intensities will decrease, whereas you can always point out on the graphs which we are very sure will go, are going to intersect. It's not that one graph will lie completely below when you change 2 variables. Remember, if current was kept the same and the voltage was changed, one graph lies below the other. But if you make 2 changes, there is a chance that the graph actually gets intersected, and that's a conceptually proven fact also. Okay, so experimentally proven fact, I should say. So there is no guarantee that all the intensities of X-rays will decrease. So this is originally that was given is supposedly a wrong option. Okay, so this is supposed to be wrong. Let me put it here. So correct answer, let me mark now based on that, should be only A, right? Remember, the voltage change is going to reduce the cutoff wavelength and the wavelength of characteristic X-rays remain the same. Some students objected to even this, saying, okay, I may have K alpha in the initial stages, but once the current is reduced and voltage is changed, I may not have the K alpha, or originally L alpha was there and now it has got changed to K alpha, but that is not the idea. Here he clearly says the wavelength of the characteristic X-rays. That means if you are choosing to look at K alpha before, you have to choose to look at the same K alpha later, whose wavelength remains the same. It is the problem with the option C that the JE key has given. He should have not said the intensity of all X-rays. This is the troublesome part. Okay, so according to me, the answer should be only A. Okay, so that's it. Let's start off with the practice problems in which we'll try to reduce the ambiguities and increase our range in the concept and try to predict some future questions that are potentially possible for the X-rays chapter. Okay, so here's the practice problem number 1, which I'll try to answer in the physics surgery quickies, and please do comment your response along with the timestamp. That is very, very important so that I can respond to your answers, okay, in the comment section below. Let's move on to practice problem 2. Right, this I picked up from one famous institute's AITS, All India Test Series. Right? It's a very nice question, basic theoretical one. If you read the question carefully and the options, you will be able to mark the most possible process. So this is a single option question that I'm waiting for the comment of your response along with the timestamp in the comment section below. Okay, so very straightforward question, but tricky one. Practice problem number 3. Okay, I've picked it up from NCERT exemplar problems. It's a funny thing that NCERT textbook has forgotten to give any theory about X-rays. I marked the same thing in community post to highlight that, but X-rays is very well within both JEE mains and JEE advanced syllabus. It is high time that NCERT physics people wake up and add that section with a proper theoretical and practical analysis of X-ray transition to help the students. Till then, we'll take the help of NCERT exemplar. This is from chapter 12, 27th question. Very interesting question. And especially JEE will be very much interested in such type of questions which involve Nobel Prize winning phenomena. Auger process by the a person called Auger. I'm maybe pronouncing his German name wrong, right? So sorry for that, but the process is very nice. Read this question, comment your response along with the timestamp below. I'm pretty sure sometime in the future, this question definitely will be touched upon by JEE mains or advanced. Okay, so I'll be eagerly waiting for your response along with the timestamp. I'll take it up in the NCERT in-depth doubt series. Okay. Practice problem number 4, a very famous question from Concepts of Physics by H.C. Verma sir, volume 2. Okay, also keeps appearing in many exams which my students write in the weekend. Right, so I thought I'll share this question with you. It's a debated question among teachers and students about the key that is given by H.C. Verma sir. So comment your response along with the timestamp below. And because it's debated, we'll try to take it up in the resolved series. Try to see each and every option, try to dissect it, wherein our we'll be go closer to the X-rays concept required for JEE Advanced. Okay, so this will be real fun when I take up the video. You may also check all the other modern physics challenges from channel, right? Usually less information, less problems are available on modern physics and their subtopics in the internet, right? So we have enough on this channel, and good thing is I have subdivided them into more playlists. So it's not just modern physics. You have part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, I think 4 parts, including nuclear physics. So links of all those playlists subtopic wise are in the description below, right? So please do explore that, right, before your JEE Advanced exam. Also, apart from what I offer to you, it's very important that you become a part of a community where students keep sharing their own exam questions, especially in a topic like modern physics, where the number of good questions are very less in the public domain. So different institute students are part of my Discord server, wherein whatever doubtful and exemplary questions are shared in a modern physics separate channels are there, one for atomic, one for nuclear physics, and you would see each and every day 2 or 3 questions itself. If you can get from this modern physics channel, it will completely change your luck in the final. It's not luck, it completely change your destination in the final examination. So please be part of that server. And what is Discord server? If you're new and all that, I've already made a video on that, and the link of that video is in the description, and below that video in its description I have the joining link. So please do check out, and I'll be seeing you there, right? I also keep a tab on the community tab. I'll keep posting some questions, QOTDs, part of the Discord server, right? And link of this video is in the description below or the I button. Please do check it out. And I'll try to come up with many more JEE Advanced solutions of all the past papers, intriguing ones, the ones where we can expand the subject with good practice problems. So please do give suggestions on what should be the next question, right? Either question paper or the topic in which I can take this one up. Also, rest of the series, which are very important for your JEE Advanced preparation. I've written only 4. There are many more that cater to your needs. Just have a look through the description below. You'll find a lot of gems. Okay, so watch 3 or 4 videos every day before your JEE preparation finishes, and that should take you ahead of others in terms of what you can achieve on the final day, right? So again, one final request, please don't forget to like the video and share it, and please do subscribe to my channel. And it is different. I'm not saying it is the best, but it's definitely different from others. Okay, so thanks for staying this long, and see you in the next one.